I scaled a car detailing business from zero to $40,000 a month in 96 days, and these are the 7 most important lessons I learned and what you can be able to do to implement in your business right away to help you scale as well. There's going to be a bonus one at the very end, which I think is the most important one if you want to stay around to the very end. Now, here's the thing. Here's the proof of me actually hitting $40,000 a month, and we're limiting and we're not yet done growing. We're going to continue to grow. My goal is to be doing about $1 million a year, $84-ish thousand a month, so we'll continue to scale. Now, here's the thing. From the get-go, I lived in a completely different state. I didn't do virtually a single job myself. I started hiring and delegating from the get-go, and I knew I wanted to build a business that could run and operate without me working there. And in the past, I'd ran a car detailing business in the past. I was doing every single job myself. I had done thousands of cars. I had done a lot of different things. I kind of learned the marketing, the sales, but not really. And I was capped out around $10,000 to $15,000 a month and wouldn't scale past that. And circling back in after starting a marketing agency for car detailers and things like that, I started to be able to scale my own business with the full thought of it being delegated off to other people because I didn't want to do the work and I knew that wasn't the right way to scale. So from the get-go, I knew I wanted to do as little work as possible and focus on growing the business than actually working in the business. And here's exactly how I got to $40,000 a month in less than 100 days and how we plan to scale into multiple 6 figures a year, even 7 figures a year in the upcoming months as well. Now, the number one lesson I learned was acquisition. You can't have anything, you can't have a business unless you have a consistent way of acquiring customers. Now, before we even started jobs, before I even hired anybody, before I even had the equipment to do the car detailing jobs, I acquired customers. So how I did this is I put up a system that was super easy to spawn in customers out of thin air. Now, for me, this was meta ads, right? So I ran Facebook and Instagram ads targeting specific clients saying, hey, if you're looking to get the interior and exterior of your car detailed, go ahead and press the link below. We'll reach out to you, right? This got us lead forms, and from lead forms, I was able to call and interact with clients with the correct sales process to be able to actually close these clients, right? So I took this big demographic of people, everybody in Colorado Springs, and then also Austin as well later on. I took this big demographic of people. I called out a specific niche of people, Colorado Springs car owners, right? And then from there, I broke down what we do, why they should trust us, and then an offer, and then a call to action, right? So what it looked like, it was like Colorado Springs car detailing, or Colorado Springs car owners. Are you looking to get your car professionally detailed? Well, now for the next, 100 clients or so, we're giving $50 off any detailing service, no matter the price. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, go ahead and press the link below. And that car detailing going behind me, and then every time a lead form was sent in, I called the lead in the first 30 seconds. That was my number one rule, because I knew I had a 391% higher chance of closing a lead calling them in the first 30 seconds compared to just calling them 30 minutes later. And so I made sure I tracked my leads in a software called Go High Level, tracking my stages and made sure I was following up with clients, texting clients, and my speed to lead was done right. So I had a consistent channel of acquiring customers. And before I even had a single job, I was acquiring customers, placing them onto my calendar, and then I bought all the equipment and then went and did all those jobs, and the equipment paid for itself in just the first couple jobs. That way I had more time to scale, right? So this was the first thing I did. I started acquiring customers, figured out the system to do that. For me, it was easiest to do meta, spawning people in out of thin air, having them interact with my ad, and then being able to close them on car detailing services. From there, the second most important thing I did from the get-go was hiring technicians. I delegated off work from the get-go. Now, I knew I was confident enough that I could keep 2 technicians forward busy. If I had 100% of my time only focusing on sales and only focusing on marketing, I know I could keep these guys busy. So the way I paid them is 35% of the job, and I hired on 2 people that were working with me. So the first 10 to 15 cars that we did from our average ticket price of $250, so our first give or take $2,500 to $5,000 that we made, I had technicians working with me, training with me, learning the actual systems to actually complete the jobs, right? And so we did a couple of things. We made the systems of greeting the clients, actually completing the specific service, taking payment, making sure the client was happy and left a good review, and then ultimately circling them back into the pipeline with other marketing strategies, which we'll talk about later. So I hired technicians. And the way I hired technicians is I ran Facebook ads as well. Surprise, surprise, there's a lot of stuff about Facebook ads. I said, hey, if you're looking to work as a car detailing technician, you don't need to have experience. You'll get paid this much. You'll be getting paid this much, and then you'll be working this amount of hours. And if you're interested, press the link below, and I set up multiple interviews hiring different people for different specific reasons. I worked for people that are hungry and had experience, right? These people I wouldn't have to train as much and wanted to make a lot of money. And my goal was to feed them as much as I physically could so they could be working as much as they possibly can. Now, from there, after I was done hiring, I went into the training process. Training needed to be done because I needed to make sure every single job was done at the same level of quality. So the third thing I did was training, right? And so training, I made sure the clients, or not only the technicians, were able to do jobs, but they were able to interact with the clients, make sure they're happy, set the proper expectations, upsell, go for the initial consultation, and then also be able to complete the service, timely and accurately every single time, went through a quality control stage to make sure quality wasn't missed, and made sure every job was done at the same level of technicality every single time, making sure that the quality was, if not mine, or if not better than mine, which led to higher tips for them, which made every client happy and led us to get higher reviews, and then ultimately made them make payment as well via our payment processing software that was always direct deposit into our business bank account where I could pay them out on a separate things. I contracted all these people, I gave them the equipment, invested in more equipment, gave 2 technicians the equipment, and they were able to scale and grow the business because I didn't need to do every single one of the jobs. At this point, my entire role was actually taking the sales calls, and that's it. I was taking sales calls every single day, and I was making sure the calendar was fully booked every single day, and that was my entire role at this point. And if marketing ever slipped up, if the ads got too expensive and my customer acquisition costs ever got too high, I would cycle creatives. Now my role isn't to fulfill the service because that's not the highest leverage thing I can do. The highest leverage thing I can do is delegate it off to technicians that know how to do the jobs, make sure it's done accurately, and make sure they have enough fed or enough fuel to actually be able to make a lot of money. And my entire goal and my motivation was make them as rich as possible, because in return, that would make us as rich as possible, be able to help and grow and scale the business longer after that. Then from there, after I started training all the technicians, I hired a salesperson, right? And so I know that my time is valuable, and my time was spent doing 99% of the time doing sales, which didn't allow me to grow other avenues of the business. Now at this point, the technicians were doing anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, give or take, between the two of them every single month, right? So going into month 2, we cleared about a $15,000 month going into month 1. Going into month 2, I knew each of these technicians could handle about, give or take, about $10,000 worth of jobs. But I needed to hire more if I knew I wanted to grow and scale faster. So I went to Discord and word of mouth and communities and use my network to be able to find a closer or a person that would set appointments, right? And so I needed somebody that was hungry. I need somebody that was willing to make $200 every single day. Somebody that didn't necessarily know the industry, but had a chip on their shoulder and was doing whatever it takes to work for a commission and to make as much possible money as possible. And this was a very scary part, right? Because I trusted somebody with the entire business growth in terms of all the sales. I made sure I sat down, I trained them, I did call recordings, I gave them a script, I let them work, I explained the services to them. I trained them fully on closing deals, and then had to let go of that fear of doing sales myself and trust him that he would be able to do that. Now, I'll be fully honest with you. The first 2 weeks, it was average. We were getting average sales, nothing after that. But then after that, I had my time back. I was able to feed the salesperson more. He got more reps in. He started training. He was hungry enough to grow, which in the long run helped grow the business so much faster. So this is about, give or take, month 2-ish at this point that we're coming into all this period. And we're, give or take, with the salesperson booking jobs every single day, about $25,000 to $30,000 a month going into month 2, right? And then from there, we had building systems for the thing. So the 5th most important thing I did was building systems, right? So at this point, things were breaking. The salesperson wasn't booking in the correct jobs, or was underpricing jobs or overpricing jobs. The technicians weren't, doing it 100% right 100% of the time. So I built bulletproof systems so the issues that were happening were fixed to a point where they wouldn't happen again. I was increasing efficiency on jobs. I was making systems from everything from what type of marketing we're doing, what type of ads we're running, what type of speed to lead we're running, how fast is our pipeline being tracked, organized, and set up? Do we have an end-of-day report for our sales technician or our salesperson? Are our technicians preparing the night before? Having systems in place for that, making sure the job gets done every single time accurately. What happens if there's weather? All these nuanced issues that pop up, which there will be issues in your business that pop up when you're scaling as aggressively as I did. You need to have systems in place to make sure things don't consistently break. And now I made a ton of systems. I sat down and made an entire technician handbook of every service we offer, A to Z, top to bottom, and exactly what it came with, breaking it down with videos, images, instructions, how to use the software, everything. Over 100 pages of information and detailed content that the technicians could use, so they didn't have to call me. They're able to learn and grow faster, and it was done the exact same way every single time. It's the same thing with sales and the same thing with marketing. Now we have an engine that's running. The systems are in place. We have a salesperson that's closing deals, and we have technicians completing the jobs. Now my role is to make sure I'm fueling the entire company, giving us enough leads, enough sources, and making sure that that fire does not burn out when the leads dry up. So now my goal is to focus fully on marketing, to be able to delegate off as much work as possible, but make sure everybody is busy and we're continuing to scale. Now, from there, the 6th most important thing I did, at this point, we had about 3 technicians. I hired on that person. We opened up our Austin location, and then we hired on a 4th technician as well. So at this point, we have 4 technicians, right? And it's going, give or take, about 70-ish days in. And at this point, I knew that to increase volume of the amount of jobs that we're able to complete, ticket prices need to go up. And so I thought about the markets that I was in. In Colorado Springs, there's a lot of RVs, there's a lot of cars, there's a lot of road grind, there's a lot of things. So instead of doing general interior and exterior details, in Colorado Springs, we switched over to RV detailing, which is higher ticketing, less cancellations, less people needing their RVs on a day-by-day basis. And then from there, we also increased ticket price by offering ceramic coatings to protect their car from the Colorado weather. And our ads were formulated around Colorado specific market, right? Colorado has a lot of snow, salt, things like that. They need protection. Ceramic coating, we sold the protection of Colorado's weather. For RVs, we sold the convenience of a professional detail on the RVs. And then obviously, we had some circulation of car detailing in there as well to make sure we're hitting all three. But this brought our ticket price from $250 all the way up to $440 in just a week and a half, just by offering higher ticketing things with the same customer acquisition cost, a lower cost per lead, and had our business go through the roof. Now in Austin, there's a lot of boats in Austin, right? And so we targeted boats from the get-go. There's a ton of boats. It's boat season. It was circling in the boat season. And this allowed me to be like, okay, there's not a lot of competition. So what I'm going to do is transition into boat detailing fully. So we offered mobile boat detailing, and it was slow at first. But then we got jobs, we got more clients, we got better deals, we got ceramic coatings, and we had jobs that are ranging anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 in Austin. We weren't getting as many jobs, but our cash collected was higher in Austin because we are targeting boats, which were a higher ticketing item for us. Now at this point, we're doing jobs for RVs like big paint correction ceramic coatings. We're doing car paint correction ceramic coatings, general interior and exterior details all in Colorado Springs with 3 technicians doing those. And at this point in Austin, we have 1 full-time technician and 1 part-time technician doing only boats, making sure my goal now is to keep everybody busy. Now, our goal at this point in time is to make sure every single person that is doing the work is staying busy 100% of the time. And this also led to technician fatigue. Now, I have, at this point, way too much business than what I know to deal with. And so the current pain point that we're running into is that we need to hire more, which I'll talk about in a second, is the next steps that we need to take. Now, the 7th most important thing that I did was fine-tuning my marketing, cycling creatives, making sure we had a high cost per lead, making sure that we had Google local service ads now incorporated, so we're getting leads from Google, we're getting online bookings from our website, we have Meta running in the background as well, we have word of mouth marketing, and we have email and SMS marketing. So now, all of a sudden, we went from Meta, which is just giving us one source. Now we have Google, where people are booking online, calling us from Google. They see our positive reviews. Now we have email and SMS retargeting marketing. So when people don't interact with us, or we call them so many times that we're retargeting them using a software to retarget them with email and SMS, running deals, things like that. Then we have word of mouth and referral over here. So now we have a 4-pillar marketing stage, all leading into one organized pipeline and getting us the most amount of business that we can possibly have every single day. Now that I've done all this, it's great. We have way too much business than we know what to deal with, which is a great problem to have, but a problem that we need to solve. So at this point, going back after the vacation I took to the Grand Tetons, because I'm able to live wherever I want, because I've delegated off all of my work, my entire goal right now is to hire. Get more technicians onboarded, get quality, high quality technicians that do the job, they do it well, and they're hungry and they're willing to grind. And if I can hire on 3 to 4 more technicians and completely book them out and just increase ad spend, our marketing is going to be able to keep up. My entire goal is to hire more technicians and keep them busy. Fuel those technicians. Give them the most amount of fuel that they can grow and scale the personal lives, but can also grow and scale the business. So the next steps we take is hiring more technicians to be able to get to $84,000 a month, just about $1 million a year, and then also increasing annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue, and quarterly recurring revenue. So at some point, we can approach the ideal of being able to actually close and sell the business. Now, I did this all in 96 days. How was I able to do this? I moved with speed. I did everything as fast as I possibly could. Now, here's the thing. This is the bonus section right here. You can do it like me. We started a car detailing business, did thousands of jobs myself, capped out about $10,000 to $15,000. Then I said, oh, I'm done with this. Started a marketing agency, learned everything about marketing for car detailers, learned all the sales, the pipelines, all of that jazz, and just played it on hard mode. Made thousands of dollars worth of mistakes, spent thousands of hours on the wrong things, and spent thousands of hours of my time trying to figure out how this business works, and got to the point where I was able to scale from $0 to $40,000 a month in 96 days at that extreme pace. But if you want to do the same thing in your business, and you're like, well, I don't know marketing, I don't know sales, I don't know how to hire, I don't know how to delegate, I don't know how to spawn in customers out of thin air, I don't know accounting, I don't know bookkeeping, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to make sure I track my profit margins, I don't know where to reinvest, and I'm going to spend thousands of hours making all of these mistakes myself. Be my friend and do what I did. I think there's lessons to be taught doing it the hard way. But if you want to avoid the major headache that I ran into and the tens of thousands of hours that I ran into, you can join our free school community that will be able to interact with other local service entrepreneurs using the description below to be able to break down exactly what's going on in your community or going wrong in your business, enter the community chat, and have people interact with it. But if you want to take it a step further, you can work with our team, our development team, that has designed a course with over 10,000 hours worth of information and be able to help you scale at the same way that I was able to scale my detailing business, and also work with me one-on-one on weekly calls to break down the exact highest leverage thing you can do to go from where you are right now to be able to scale to the next level. So if you want to play the game on hard mode, be my friend, make tens of thousands of hours of mistakes, learn. I think there's a benefit to that. But if you want to play the game on easy mode and fast track all of that, you can join our free community and get the surface level of that, or you can work with us one-on-one and be able to get to that point exponentially faster, identify the next highest leverage step that you'll be able to take to get to that point and be able to scale your business long term. So to recap, I was able to hire on technicians, live in a completely different state without doing virtually a single job myself, and I'm living, in the Grand Tetons with a bunch of my friends right now at a mansion. I've built financial freedom for myself, built the ability for a business to grow and scale without me being there, and being able to delegate off all of the work so I can actually work on the highest leverage things. And the next highest leverage thing I can do is hire. And I already have 11 interviews set up for the day I get back from the Grand Tetons to interview and delegate off more work so we can continue to scale at an unreasonable rate and get to that next level every single day. And if this sounds like something you were interested in and you said, hey, I appreciate this video, this taught me a lot, feel free to give us a subscribe, give us a like, give us a follow, and give us any questions. Join the free school community down below, and we look forward to seeing you there. But thank you guys. This is my first YouTube video. It's meant to be educational and give you guys the most amount of value as I can. Thank you guys.